What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome into episode 20 of the Cougar Digest podcast. Nice round number. Put a bow on the end of this one, I guess. Works out pretty good. I'm Rob Sellers, publisher of Cougar Digest, joined by the normal cohorts and the new guy that's been demanded as well. Kevin, Gatlin, Blake. Let's do it in an orderly fashion. Kevin, how you been, buddy?
Hey, doing good. I was telling Gatlin before we came on that today my vacation has officially started. So combine that with early signing day. Today's a pretty good day, a good day for hope, and a good day to see what we might have going on in the future. But it's always good to be here with you guys. We got the full crew on tonight because obviously it's a very important day. Happy to be here with y'all and looking forward to getting to know some of these recruits a little bit more tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you doing this. I was telling these guys too before we came on. Appreciate the work they've done this week. They kind of stepped in and helped a lot. Blake did a lot behind the scenes as well. Got mixed in with a lot of the recruiting stuff. Probably got his first taste of all that. Let me come back to you in a second though, Blake. Gatlin, how about you? How are things? You getting close? You ready for Christmas?
Rob, I am ready for Christmas. This is the first year I haven't had to do any last minute shopping. My wife kept me on top of it this year, so I got all the presents wrapped in under the tree, so I'm done. I'm in vacation mode, and it's Fritzmas, the most wonderful time of the year.
It's too easy not to fall on that one, isn't it? I know it's been used everywhere.
I think December 20th needs to officially be Fritzmas, early signing day, after what he pulled out today.
That's fair. Blake, welcome back in. This is your second appearance, second time on the show?
Yep.
You're back home?
Yep, I am. I'm in Arlington right now. For those of you who know, it's by Dallas. But yeah, no, I've been doing good. I'm done with classes. I passed every single class, and I avoided a D by 0.3 points. So I'm doing pretty good.
Speaking of success stories.
Yeah.
So you got your first little bit of taste of this, probably the recruiting behind the scenes. I know you probably seemed like you followed it before or whatever, but what was it like getting a little bit more behind the scenes this time? I know you kind of reached out and started. You were ahead making edits and stuff for people. It's kind of a fun way to, when you start finding out those things ahead of time, whatever, to watch how it plays out a little bit. It can be entertaining.
Yeah, it's been fun because I've gotten to tease my Twitter audience a little bit. Every time a guy asks me to make an edit, I'll tweet out a lock emoji, and the replies will just go insane. So it's been a lot of fun. Like you said, I followed recruiting big time through high school, and so it's fun to be on the inside of that instead of being the guys on Twitter who are replying to the little teases, being the guy who's actually teasing everybody. But no, it's been cool. It's fun to get information first, for sure.
With great power comes great responsibility. Don't mess with these people too much.
Good or evil?
They'll turn on you in a second. Yeah. Trust me. So you're gonna have to tell me if you guys see people pop in. I'm gonna start sending out links and whatnot. So
Yeah.
if
Well,
you
I'll
see
let you know.
somebody waiting, yeah, just scream at me or something. But obviously here
I'll
to
wave my
talk a little
hands
bit
and I'll get
about.
everyone's attention.
There you go. That'll work. Obviously here to talk about the guys that were on hand, everybody that jumped on board today. Well, I'll tell you what, these new AirPod Pros, they just don't feel like they're in there. I know they are, but it's different to get used to. Anyway, they had a good pretty much everybody they expected. I know there was still one guy left, Xavier Stillman, that they were still working on that's committed, but he's just still been pulling in offers all day. So it sounds like they're trying to make a push to go ahead and wrap that up tonight, push him to get it done. And it sounds like they will probably get that done. And that was the last one in terms of what we knew was going to go on or whatever, and what we learned today. So what did they end up with? I know when we were at the press conference, it was at what, 20 something to that effect. When they printed it out, it was 20.
We've got 15 high school kids in JUCO whenever you factor in Stillman, and then 10 transfers.
Okay. So 25. Got you. That makes sense then. Coach Fritz at the press conference said, and this was right after Darius Joyner had come in, literally as he sat down, they sent out the Darius Joyner. So he said there were still a couple, and that would have probably included, I think Kobe came after that. Yep. And then, like I said, there's still probably a guy or two they're messing with right now. So they're trying to, they did a good job putting a bow in this class. Everyone's been talking, of course, on the boards and all that about just how good of a job they did closing everything down the stretch, only being here for a couple weeks and all that. And they did a good job. They held on to the ones they wanted to hold on to. They did a good job using those relationships that they had already had. They brought a few with them from Tulane. And overall, I mean, as we sit and look at the class as a whole, there's a lot there. You know what I mean? And you include in, this is just looking at the signees, and we include what they've still got room to do in the transfer portal. I mean, there's hope there. I mean, they still got some work to do after this. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be the wet blanket, and they know that. They'll be the first to tell you they've probably got a lot of work to do still. But I would give it a solid, well, no, I wouldn't give them a D, Blake. I would definitely probably, give them credit for trying a little harder than that. But I would probably give them an A. I think they deserve an A just for what they did in such a short amount of time. What do you guys think as a whole? Like when you kind of sit back and look at everything that was brought in today.
I think I saw this somewhere, and I think it's an apt description. Foundation is kind of the word that comes to mind for me. I feel like, look, there were, some splashy ones that, guys like Kentrell Webb and Corey Platt from the transfer portal, big names. Obviously, Maurice Williams and Kobe Young, some kind of flashier guys with some big time offers. But on the whole, what I see is a lot of guys who have some really fantastic traits and, are probably, mostly developmental players in terms of needing a couple years to kind of really be ready for Power 5 football, but who fit the mold of kind of what you want those developmental pieces to be. It didn't feel like anyone was a reach, right? It felt like all these guys have a real shot at developing into a Power 5 player. And that was really exciting to see because staring down the barrel of those 8 commits we had 3 weeks ago, you did not, have the level of confidence that you do today.
Yeah, that's true. And I did notice one thing today, and I forget who I was talking to about it, but what I did notice, 247 did a better job this year getting transfer portal rankings in for everybody, and that might have a little bit to do with Houston being a Power 5 school now, and so they want to make sure they take care of those guys first, obviously. But either they did a better job or it just seemed that way. At least that more Houston guys got done. But what I did notice that I liked so much is every one of those guys on that list, it looked like all their rankings went up from what their high school ranking was. So it means, the way I view it is every one of these guys, at least in the, whoever does the rankings, and I know we take it with a grain of salt and all that, but every one of those guys improved their worth enough or their value since getting on a college campus, and every one of them was rated higher as a transfer, which I thought that seems pretty evident of what Willie Fritz has built as a head coach in terms of getting guys, developing them, making them better, and that it kind of fits. You know what I mean? It seems like it fits real well with that philosophy that they have.
It also wasn't what I noticed. It wasn't a whole lot of Power Five rejects, if that makes sense. I don't want to use such harsh language, but you get what I'm saying. It wasn't guys who failed at the Power Five level. It was mainly people who excelled at the Group of Five level. Michael Batton's one, Corey Platt's one, and even most of the guys we're still targeting are that. I know Damon Demas was a A&M wide receiver, and he tweeted out that he wanted to come to Houston, and we didn't offer him. It's clear we're targeting culture and not just the flash. Because that was sort of what you saw in the previous regime was now we're choosing substance over flash. That started with the Fritz hire, and it's been shown in the guys we've brought on so far, and the guys we've chosen not to bring on.
Well said, Blake, especially when you think about one of the challenges we had our first year in the Big 12 was just kind of a lack of quality depth, right? And, you look at some of these guys who did contribute at the Group of Five level. They've done some research on this, and a lot of times these guys in these roles, some of them do go on to be starters at the Power Five level as well, and that's great. But a lot of times they end up coming over and being more depth pieces, right? And I think that's a huge benefit for U of H to kind of be able to go ahead and plug some holes, not just kind of on the starting pieces that we lose, like defensive end and linebacker, right? But also to build some depth at those positions with guys who have playing experience, not just high school guys who that would be their first time touching the field.
Right. That's fair. That's a good point. Probably a good segue to bring in the first guest of the evening. Let's get him on over here. Michael Batton signed today with Houston, or they made it official today, announced him today with Houston. He is a linebacker just coming in from Louisiana Monroe, but has had a very, very interesting path to get kind of where he's eventually ended up back home, and I'm sure that's exactly how he planned it out when he left the first time. But let's welcome him in. Michael, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are y'all doing? Thank y'all for having me on the little podcast here.
Yeah, no, for sure. We appreciate you joining us. You give everybody a chance to get to know you a little bit better. Like I said, you kind of had an interesting path. You obviously are from Seven Lakes, and I kind of did in my homework and getting you put in our system. I had to research a bit, and I was kind of shocked a little bit. I would say you're a journeyman, but I'm sure you've had your fair share of your frequent flyer miles along the way. It seems like. So you were a quarterback in high school. I'll let you explain a little bit. You started out as a quarterback in high school, and kind of walk us through how that process worked.
Yeah. So growing up, I was a linebacker and a quarterback. By the time I got to high school, I kind of focused more on quarterback just because I was kind of the best in my area at doing it and at the school. Sophomore year, I kind of earned the spot and became the starter for the next 3 years. And I'd say I did pretty well. Team success, not so well. But senior year, we went 6-4 and made it to the playoffs. But by then, a lot of my recruitment kind of was already out the window. So I was kind of looking at a situation where my back was against the wall. But I had University of Louisiana Lafayette very interested in me late. And they weren't able to offer me a scholarship, but they wanted me to come as a preferred walk-on as an athlete. And they said, hey, do you want to be on defense or offense? You're a good athlete. You can see you doing both. Decided to pick the offensive side because I still wanted to score touchdowns and stuff like that. And, being quarterback, that was still kind of in my frame of mind. But it kind of just didn't work out. I still kind of wanted to play quarterback. So I took a year off, tried to figure some things out, and got myself on a JUCO squad up in New York, Long Island. I had one of my dad's friends who lives in Chicago actually kind of put me on. This team in Chicago didn't want me, but they sent my film to the school in Long Island, and they wanted me real bad, and so I just kind of jumped on it and said, let's go. thought it was a cool location.
Mm.
Did well, led them to the D. They call it the D3 championship because there's scholarship JUCO and non-scholarship. And in
Okay.
21, they broke it up. It used to be all together, but then they broke up scholarship and non-scholarship for whatever reason. It's weird though because we still played 5 scholarship teams that year and beat 3 out of 5 of them. And our other games were non-scholarship. But long story short, the team that didn't want me in Chicago, we ended up facing in the championship. Played well against them. We ended up losing on like the last second. But it was a good experience. But I got some FCS offers.
Mm-hmm.
But those kind of just fell through too because of academic reasons and my eligibility. I had to get my associate's degree and I wasn't able to get it till that following spring. And they wanted me to come in January, and compete like, at this point. So I wasn't able to sign. And through, February, to actually what's funny is the previous staff for Houston, I was talking to them for a walk-on opportunity to come on there early in January. I want to say his name was Coach Dawson. So I
Yeah.
was, in talks with him to come as a walk-on quarterback. But that again, that just kind of I didn't feel good about that. And University of Louisiana Monroe kind of came up in March, and they wanted me to come on the defensive side of the ball. We kind of talked about quarterback, but they said they had their guy, and I was just so done with the process and all that stuff. I was ready to just get on a team and play some football, whether it was quarterback, whatever it was. And luckily, it worked out really well. I got to the will linebacker position, worked my way up to number 2. Kind of came on later in the season. My breakout game was against Georgia State. I had 16 tackles, 15 solo, a forced fumble, pass deflection, and we won the game. And that was our first road game win in I want to say 4+ years. So that was huge. Finished the season off real well again. Led the team in tackles in the last 2 games. And then following the next season, switched up our defense. I got moved to Mike because I showed my ability so well, in the box, and led the team in tackles this year, and had a really good year. And I credit a lot of my success to my father because, like I said, I played quarterback, but growing up, I was a linebacker as well, and my dad played on the defensive side of the ball in college, and all those we took it very serious when we were younger, and all that kind of translated over once I made the switch to defense. And I quickly realized that I should have been playing defense all along, and this is kind of what I'm best at.
Yeah, that like I said, man, what a path. So
Yeah.
my first obvious question before I turn it loose to these guys, I know they got a couple questions too, is how much of a culture weather shock was it when you first went to New York?
Oh, it was definitely a shock, but I actually did live in Colorado for 7 years in my elementary
Oh,
days.
okay. Okay.
So
Then
it
you weren't
wasn't
too
like
shocked by it.
wasn't too crazy, but still
Yeah,
I
you're
had
used
been
to
in
it.
I had been in Houston for a long time enough where I had adapted to that. I remember there was one game where it was like 50 degrees in the first half. We go into halftime, the storm rolls in. It gets below like 20 with the wind chill, and I'm out there with just short sleeves, and I am freezing, and I'm playing quarterback, and we're getting killed this game. I mean, it was terrible. So I would say end of October and beginning of November was really bad, but it actually kind of warmed up towards the end of November and December. And actually, when I left December 16th, it was 60 degrees out. So, you know,
Figures.
Goodness
yeah,
gracious.
weather's weird.
All
So,
right.
so Michael,
Anybody
you
else got
mentioned getting moved to middle linebacker. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got it. Hey, so Michael, you mentioned being moved to middle linebacker. Funny enough, the University of Houston actually just finished having a middle linebacker from Seven Lakes, Mr. David Ugwegbu, who I believe you guys had some overlap time. Did you talk to him at all whenever Houston started recruiting and kind of get his perspective on what it was like to be here?
Yeah. Well, me and David, yeah, we were real close in high school. Kind of haven't been as close later on. So I didn't really speak with him, no, but obviously we stay real close and with our journey. And I know he's doing well, and he had a great career at Oklahoma. and then kind of came to Houston and played like that Mike and that D end role. But no, he just shot me a text, saying congratulations.
Awesome.
You know, um, it was a new coaching staff, and he had the old coaching staff, so I wasn't real keen on asking him about anything because that's what's most important to me is the coaching staff. And so once I did my due diligence and just met them myself, that was all I needed to kind of come in there and make a decision.
It's awesome.
So you mentioned the coaching staff. One of the big things Coach Fritz harped on at his welcome press conference was the culture he wants to build. What sort of conversations during the recruiting process did y'all have about specifically the culture they want to establish?
Yeah, I mean, culture is so important, and some coaches overlook it, but I feel like it's becoming more of a norm to especially turn a program around. Obviously, I was at University of Louisiana Monroe, and we struggled, and we were trying to change the culture, but we just couldn't do it, and a lot of that has to do with the coach that's in place, and so. Yeah, Coach Fritz is huge on that, and he wants to bring in people. I was listening to earlier on the podcast, the Demos guy, whether he's a good coach guy or not, there's been issues off the field, obviously, but he's bringing in guys that have no issues. They're 5-star people, and they have those leadership skills that can come in and help the coaches steer the culture in the right way. Because as Coach Fritz said in the office, that's really the most important thing is the culture, and that's how you really turn a program around. You get everyone on the same page and everyone moving in the right direction.
Awesome. Well said.
We had a question come in. Just somebody once you first hopped on, want to know what you feel like your strengths are. What are your strengths are as far as linebacker now? And I would add to that, how much do you feel like you're still developing a little bit even as a linebacker? I know you spent time there. It's not like it's new to you, but do you feel like there's still a learning process going on?
I think I'm a very quick learner, and for one, I'll say it's always a learning progress. There's always room to get better. But I'd say some of my strengths are just my navigational skills. I know how to get the ball, but of course, I know how to do my job very well too. But once my job is secure, I know how to get to the ball as quick or quicker than anyone. So I'll say that's definitely one of my strengths. Obviously, my IQ. I've played on both sides of the ball extensively, so I'm able to see things a lot different than most people. I feel like I'm able to read things a little bit faster, and I'm able to take chances and succeed on them because I know it's going to work. Just being on the other side of the ball, it gives you a whole different view you can imagine. And then I'll just say honestly, my athleticism. I think it's a little bit slept on. I've ran 4.50 40s laser 4.53 this past year at 220. My quickness, I would say, is even better than my speed, my suddenness,
Okay.
and just my ability to tackle. I don't miss many tackles, and just my sideline to sideline ability, and able to hang with the fastest guys on the field, but also be able to bang with the biggest and strongest guys on the field as well. I play bigger than I am. I wouldn't say I'm your stereotypical linebacker size, but I'm still a solid 6'2", 220, and I can hang in there with the biggest and the fastest. And I think my navigational skills, my speed, and just my IQ is, I would say, the three things that really stand out for me as a player. And I think it'll definitely show this year when everyone's watching.
Makes
Hey,
sense.
Michael, have you gotten to have any conversations yet with Coach James Ross, and you going to have any insight on kind of where he? Now being in that 3-4, with it rolled down, do they see you at Mike, or is it more of a outside linebacker role, or where do they see you fitting in here?
Yeah, certainly. Coach Ross was the first guy that I actually got on the phone with. And, one of the first questions I asked, like, hey, what defense are you running, and where do you see me fitting? I've played both the Will and the Mike, and, I'm willing to do both. They see me more as a Will, but they have told me, they kind of cross-train, so it could go either way, but they're definitely looking at me more of the Will. And, the 3-4, it's a 3-4, and they say it's 4-3 principles.
Right.
So no, I'm definitely excited to run the defense. It's really helpful to the linebackers, and I think it plays to my strengths because like I said, my navigational skills. What we do with the D line kind of keeps the O-line on their heels because they have to stay on the D-line, and then it frees up the linebackers to just be fast and make plays. And that's kind of what he sees in me. He wants that speed at the will position to also, cover 2 weak receiver, depending on the call, and 3 strong, and then the blitzes as well. So that's what I'm looking to play. And I think, I think Will plays to my strengths a little more. I had to step into the mic this year at ULM, but I think that was kind of a little maybe out of my comfort zone, but I learned a lot doing it. I'm able to read the line even better. So I think that's going to help me at Will just that much more.
It's awesome. Thanks.
Makes sense. Anybody else? Anything or Mike? Any questions for us by chance? I don't know anything that's you probably at least are familiar, obviously, with Houston culture and Houston Cougars and all that. So it's not like it's sneaking up on you.
I mean, how long have you guys been involved with this and Houston, and what got y'all into all this?
I've been covering it myself. This past season was my 15th season covering Houston, and I started covering just high school football in the area way back 20 years ago, probably, and got an opportunity to be the publisher for the U of H site over at Rivals about 15 years ago. Did that and just kind of stuck with it since then. And yeah, it's been kind of cool seeing a lot of people and covered a lot of good ones in that time frame. There's been a lot of good players. I was at the school today getting ready to walk into the press conference, and they have that wall back there, current NFL players.
Yeah.
And it's just like literally every one of those guys have come through since I've been here. And so it's fun. I built a fun legacy for myself in terms of being able to look back and say I covered some pretty cool guys along the way. And, those relationships were fun and all that. These guys have kind of joined in, and really, like Kevin joined us this year. He's been on the board, but he joined and kind of got me spurred on to get this podcast rolling this year because I was dragging my feet some. And so, yeah, shout out to Kevin for that. He's been a big help. Gatlin was on the board forever as well. And he has some history. He was at Houston Christian. And so, he has a little bit more of a football background. And so he kind of felt like he wanted to jump in and do the X's and O things more this year. And that definitely helped a lot. And then Blake is our student intern. He is a freshman at U of H. And so,
he does the Instagram, the Cougar.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the guy that got you connected with us, correct?
Yeah, nice. Well, guys, I'm super excited to be a part of Houston. I feel like, like you said, my path has been an uphill battle. And I think, that just has to do with me starting at quarterback. It kind of messed things up, but I finally found, the position that really plays to my strengths. And I'm excited to finally be able to showcase it at the level of the Power 5 level, and especially to do it in my hometown. So
awesome. Well, Michael, we're excited to have you. And hey, I got one more question for you before we let you go.
Sure.
Have you and Aman Nagavi talked at all about? Has he given you any crap for being from Seven Lakes, being a Katy guy himself?
Who's that? No, I haven't even. No, he hasn't.
Okay,
Who's that guy?
Okay. You gotta give him.
He's the O-line coach.
Yeah, he's the offensive line coach. He played for Coach Joseph at Katy way back in the day.
And he's actually married to Coach Joseph's daughter.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I don't blame him because after my sophomore year, we tried to get to Katy, but we just couldn't, and I was kind of stuck in that Seven Lakes situation. So it probably would have done
uphill
well
battle with him.
Yeah,
that's right,
man.
All right, well,
hey, Michael,
man, I really appreciate you making a little.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, man. Giving us a few minutes, get to know you a little better, and obviously we'll see you. We'll see you on campus soon, probably, and we'll see you in spring ball.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Really quick, Michael.
Yeah.
Michael, really quick before you go, where can people find you at? You want to plug any social media or anything like that where people can,
definitely my Instagram. I love using my Instagram to kind of paint my own story. It's Michael MICHEAL .Batton. Should I leave that in the chat?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
please put it in there
for sure.
So people can go back and find it.
Yeah, for sure. And my Twitter, all that good
Put it
stuff.
in there, and then we'll grab a collection of that and put it on the board for everybody as well, so they can go back and find you.
Sorry, guys. I was just sending a message here. Another signing.
All right. We got that. We will put that out for everyone on the board so they can go and give you a follow.
All right, guys. I appreciate that for real. Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks again, Mike.
Okay.
Yep. Have a good night.
All right. Well, there you
Thanks,
go.
Michael.
First one
Looking
out.
forward to
That
watching
was
you.
one I was excited about getting on there just because, like I said, getting to study his background a little bit and all that. He had an interesting path to get there. So thought that'd be a good one. All right. Without further ado, why don't we hop right in the next one? I see he's on. I'd like to know where his cohort is. Let's bring in Maurice Williams Jr., better referred to probably more commonly as Mo Williams. Mo, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Sir, what's up?
Big day today, huh? How do you feel getting it
Yes,
over
sir.
with?
Oh,
officially?
congrats on today.
I'm in an interview. My little brother, man. Trying to get an interview with me.
He didn't want to be left out.
That's fine. He can give us the dirt.
But now I'm ready for you guys.
That's right.
All right. So what do you think, man? Yeah, I know you got to make it official today. It's something you kind of been waiting on for a little while and all that, but
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
what did it feel like today making it official?
Man, it's an exciting feeling, because it's been a journey, being committed to LSU in the past and now committed to U of H and being able to put on for the city. And now that I'm finally officially signed, it's a great feeling. I'm officially going to be able to put on for the city. That's the goal. So it's really great.
Now, Mo, I know you mentioned, I think that you're graduating early and you'll be on campus pretty soon. When do you arrive to campus?
January 13th, I think, is my the first day I'll be on campus.
Very good. Are you
Yes, sir.
you ready to go? You already got your bags packed?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. It's been a long time coming. 4 years of high school. I'm ready to start something new.
Very nice. Hey, Mo, I did have a question for you. Just some confusion we actually were talking about earlier. When they posted your commitment, it mentioned linebacker, and I know it was kind of a big deal to you to be able to stay at safety. Have you gotten any indication, coming over, are you going to be staying at safety, or are they talking about moving you down to linebacker?
I'm gonna be staying at safety. Honestly, I haven't really played much linebacker, so I don't really have a lot of experience. I'm not sure, honestly, where the linebacker came from. But I know I've seen it in a lot of places, but honestly, I'm not really sure. Maybe it's because
I think it probably was listed that way early on some of these sites, and that's probably what confused some people.
Yeah. But they didn't say anything about linebacker. No, they've been talking about playing me at safety.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure and clear that up for everybody.
Yes, sir.
Mo, obviously, I know Zion's coming in also mid year with you. Is it a safe assumption you guys are going to room together? Have you talked to all that yet, or what?
We've actually been discussing that, so we're finalizing on everything right now to see if we're going to be rooming, if we're going to have our own place. So we're discussing that right now.
So Zion posted a little while ago on. Oh, you got it.
Oh, I'm listening.
So Zion posted a little while ago on Twitter, like how many 4 and 5 stars do I have to dominate to get my?
I've seen that.
You played with him a while. I know me and Rob came to watch y'all a few times throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
Being a 4-star yourself, do you think he deserves that?
I definitely do think he deserves that. Playing on side of him for these last 3 years, I've seen the things that he can do since we've been sophomores. So definitely think that the bold statement that he made was an accurate one. I don't think he was any wrong with anything he said. I definitely 100% agree, because I've seen him dominate multiple 4 and 5 stars over the years, even as 15 years old, 16 years old, as sophomores. So I definitely agree with that one.
Hey, Mo, can you talk a little bit about? Obviously, when you were recruited by U of H, it was a lot of the previous staff, right? And had a great relationship with them. When the new staff came in, it didn't really seem, at least on the outside, that there was much of a wavering, right, from your commitment. Can you talk a little bit about what it was about, just playing for the city of Houston and the University of Houston more so than just a staff that kind of kept you locked in, or was there a specific pitch from Coach Fritz and everybody that really won you back over, or kind of what was that process look like?
The new staff, they showed me a lot of love. They showed me that they were excited to have me. So I honestly didn't see any reason to leave or look around or switch up my decision. Because I do want to play for the city of Houston, and they're pretty much giving me the same opportunity that the last coaching staff was giving me. So I don't think there was any reason to go shopping around. Everything that I want is here, and everything that I want to do is here.
Talk a little bit about that for all the.
Mo, what is your?
Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
Go ahead, Gal. No, you're on.
All right, just gonna say talk about that a little bit. I mean, for all of the kind of future recruits in Houston. I mean, what is it available in Houston to some of these top recruits? I know there's several more down there in Shadow Creek that we're trying to get to come with you guys. What is the opportunity to stay home and play for Houston like?
Honestly, I think it's a different feeling being able to play for your city, being able to play for somewhere that your family has grown up and that you have grown up. So I think that's honestly a great feeling that a lot of people should definitely be into looking into, because I think we should have more kids that stay home, because there are a lot of great players that go out to a lot of other colleges from Houston. Like Jalen Miro, Donovan Jackson, Ohio State O-lineman, a few guys that I've played with over the years, and they go off to the colleges elsewhere and do great things. But, these guys are all from Houston. So, I mean, after we even just got like 50% of Houston just to stay home, I think it'll be great, because a lot of talent does come from Houston. And I think everybody, not everybody, because I know everybody has their own opinion, but I think majority of the people from Houston should think about staying home. We can do something pretty big here. I'm kind of trying to open people's eyes to that as well.
You heard it here first, folks. Sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah. Mo, sorry, Mo, I agree with everything you said. We need to keep the talent in Houston here in Houston. But what is your initial thoughts on Coach Fritz whenever you first met him? Like, what do you think about him?
He's a pretty chill coach. He's pretty laid back. I think with him here, I think we're definitely going to win. He's definitely giving me a mentality of winning, and he has a history of winning. So I think we're definitely going to win with him here, and I think it's great. The first impression that I had with him, it was a really great talk, great conversation. He was very interested, and I was very interested. So I can't wait to see where this goes.
Awesome.
So speaking of some of that Houston talent, your teammate Ashton Jones just released his top schools, and Houston's in there. Have you been doing any sort of recruiting on the side?
I've been doing a lot of recruiting, especially for the guys from my school. I've been trying to get them, but their decision is their decision. But of course, I'm gonna be in their ear a little bit, just like Zion was in my ear a little bit. So I'm trying to do the same. I'm pretty sure he's doing the same as well.
Awesome. Okay. And there's a couple former U of H graduates on the staff down there as well, right?
Several.
Yeah, a lot. Almost.
Yeah, it's that place like UH South over there.
Yeah, for real.
That's right.
How handy is that, Mo? When you have guys like that, I know you got to make your own decision, obviously, but having guys like that on the staff that you can just get like a straightforward opinion, that know you and know your situation and can give you. Does that help a little bit sometimes?
Yeah, honestly, it does, because they have ties and they've been there. They've been through the process of going and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, it definitely does help out a lot. But they honestly didn't have anything to do with my decision. They didn't tell me anything. Like, they didn't get in my ear or nothing. They just let us pick as far as that. But definitely after I committed and let them know what I was going to be doing, they definitely gave me some insight on what I should be looking forward to and the things that I can and can't get from the school. So yeah, it is a plus being able to have all those coaches that went to U of H. So yeah.
Anybody with all the changes going on? Obviously, you're coming into the Big 12, and all that probably had a little bit of a. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I was about to say. Do you think you would have considered Houston as seriously if they would have not gotten the call up to the Power 5?
If I'm being honest, probably not. Because
right. I mean, it's fair. You wanted to play Power 5 football. That makes sense.
I want to play Power 5 football. So I'm just being honest, being open, honest here. But yeah, definitely that had a really, really big contribution to my decision. You know, when I heard about them going to the Big 12, that's it's always been a dream, you know, playing for your city, and now that you can play for your city and be in Power Five, that was a great opportunity for me. So that definitely had a very big contribution to my decision.
I'm gonna ask a carefully worded question here. Just I'm not trying to get too much information, but what's it like just kind of going through the NIL process in terms of how do you guys go about doing your own background or homework and all that, or is that even something that's probably should be talked about? I know that's
I
kind
just
of a
let
touchy subject. Yeah,
I just let my parents handle that. You know, I don't
there you
really
go. That's probably the
I don't get
mature
too
answer
much
at your age
involved.
too.
Yeah.
That's fair. We
Hey,
probably
Rory,
should can of worms on live.
I'm curious a little bit. I mean, let the fans get to know you a little bit as far as a player. Like, you know, talk to us a little bit about your strengths and kind of what you think you bring to the team and what, you know, got the staff so excited about you.
I think honestly, I think I bring a lot of leadership, energy, and just focus. And honestly, I think I lead by example as well as just leading in general. You know, I feel like I can get the team going in multiple ways. You know, and honestly, I think I know for a fact, like I could change up a game if I need to. Like if there's a play that's needed to be made, I know I can trust myself to make that play, and you know I can bring up the energy of the team, like because you know that one big play can change the whole game. You know, it can change the whole momentum of the game. You know, once you make that one big play, that kind of gets everybody else on the team like, okay, I see what's going on. So I think that's something that I bring really big to the team. You know, energy and leadership.
Speaking of that energy, this is me
He's
and
a
Rob were
good
kind of
position
laughing
to do
about
that at
this.
as well.
Yeah, you seen some of the energy of that Clear Springs game
Yeah,
you
yeah,
came to.
we were I think
Yeah,
it was the Clear Springs
I'll,
game.
I'll tell you what.
I asked
That
you
was a
I'll
after.
tell you
crazy
what
game.
Mo brings that he's not saying. It's motivational trash talk. That's what he brings to the team. I told you a while back I compare you to Jamal Adams because
Yeah, I was just
back
gonna
when
say
he
a little
was in high
Jamal
school,
Adams.
he just never would stop talking on the field. 7-on-7 football games, pads, no pads. He just wouldn't stop. But to be
Yeah.
fair, similarly, he backed up his
You gotta back it up.
his talk.
You gotta
There you
back it
go.
up. You gotta back it up every time. But that was
I think
kind of a personal game. I played Little League with the person that I was guarding, so that was more like a personal game. So that's why I was a little more emotion in that one.
That was great.
I think my favorite moment from doing media stuff this entire year was I asked you after that game, like, who started it and who finished it? And you're like, nah, I started it, but I also finished it.
I did.
Made me kind of laugh.
I came in the game with a plan to get in his head. I came in the game with a plan to get in his head.
That's
And
right.
definitely, yeah.
He
That
made
was
it
the
all the way to
goal.
the second half, though, right? It was late in the game before he finally snapped on you.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
That was
I was
funny.
picking all game. Look at
Yeah,
to see what I can get.
dude, you finally got him to snap. Yeah, he wasn't happy about it. That was pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, that was
Anything else? Anybody else? Or y'all got anything else for Mo? Mo, I know you're working on the other guys. You said before you're talking. Houston's got what? Several offers out to guys in the next class behind you, which is not a surprise for
that's the
Shadow
big
Creek.
class.
What do you think about Shadow Creek next year? What do you think they'll look like when everybody's back healthy? I mean, y'all had a really bad luck with injuries this year.
Yeah, we really did. We really did. But I think they're gonna be pretty nice. You know, I think they got a chance to go far. You know, I think I left the young guys with a different mindset. You know, coming into the season, I think you know, it's different with young guys. You know, I was a young guy on the team, so I pretty much know that role. But I think I left me and Zion. I think we left a pretty good mark, and the rest of the seniors as well, not just me and Zion. But I think me and the seniors we left a pretty good mark on the young guys this year. We kind of let me see how I can say this. I think we gave them a different mindset, you know, because I'm gonna use this for example. There was one of my teammates, Chris Stewart. He's really nice. He's blowing up right now, actually. In the beginning of the season, you know, the young guys don't really, you know, like they don't really know like the focus. Like they want to have fun with it, you know, but at some point you got to lock in. And I had a conversation with Chris, and after one conversation with him, he snapped. He turned the switch on. Like after I had that conversation with him, he really showed me like he's really about everything that he says he is. So also big shout out to him because he's going to be a big a big piece of the puzzle next year. But that's just an example. But as far as the whole team, I think they're gonna be great as a whole. I think they got something coming next year. I think they got a chip on their shoulder as well. I think they got something to prove.
Yeah, it seems like Shadow Creek always has that talent. It just depends. Like this year, I mean, you guys had a lot of talent, but
a lot of injuries.
Nothing you could do once the injuries happen. But that doesn't mean that you still can't leave your mark on the program. Obviously, that still you can, like you explained, you can still teach those behind you, even though you're not, you're not ending up holding up the trophy at the end of the year. I think was it one more question? Maybe someone popped up here and asked one more. And it reminded me of a good question. It says, what have you heard about the new football ops building, and is he excited that he'll be the first class to enter it? Talk to me a little bit about what you have learned about the football ops building. I know you've probably just seen pictures or whatnot, obviously, so far, but how big of a importance is that to the athletes to have that facility like that?
The new facility that's coming in 2025?
Yeah. How important is it? Like, I don't understand how maybe some average people may not realize how valuable that is in recruiting and to take care of you guys.
That was the route I was going to take. I was going to say, I think the biggest impact will be recruiting, I mean, of course, it's going to be great for us as well as the people that's using those things. But now that they're going up to the Big 12, I think, like, now that they're going to have a facility to, like, match other schools in the Big 12, so I think that's honestly a great addition that's coming. And honestly, I love the fact that we're getting a new facility and stuff like that because it is good to. I've been to U of H a few times, so it's good to it's gonna be good to be in a different environment, being able to work out in a different environment, different stadium, bigger stadium, bigger crowd. That's gonna be something great.
You've probably played over there once or twice in the playoffs.
I have. My freshman year, I played there, and junior year against Summer Creek. Second round, we played there as well.
That's awesome.
Well, all right, man. Anybody else have anything they wanted to ask Mo or anything? Or otherwise, we'll let him go do his thing and celebrate and enjoy being off of school for a little while before he starts his college career. Sorry, I just had like a
before you go
hayride or something go by my window and distracted the fire out of me. Go ahead. They had lights blinking in my face. Who knows?
Maurice, have you been introduced to the strength and conditioning coach yet, Kurt Hester?
The new guy.
The new one? Honestly, I haven't. I'll probably be with him a majority of the time, so I can't wait to meet him.
Especially early on,
I'm gonna live in that weight room. That's my thing. I'm trying to get on that field early.
Well, you got a good guy to do it. He was the 2022 College Strength Coach of the Year.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to get acquainted with him.
Other than getting bigger and faster, Mo, last one. Sorry, I'll get you out of here. Other than getting bigger and faster, when you first get on campus and settling into the student life, priorities for you in year one?
I think priorities is just staying focused. Keep my head down, stay out the way. I'm a pretty chill guy. I don't really get into much. I don't like to go out. I don't do much. So honestly, I'm just going in with I'm just going in, just getting straight to work. I'm just trying to get on the field as much as I can. So I'm coming in, just getting straight to work. I'm putting extra work in. That's my goal. I'm coming in actually focused with a goal in mind because I do have a goal and a plan. And I'm not coming to do parties. I'm not coming to have no fun. Well, I'm coming to have fun. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not coming for all of the other stuff, I'm actually coming in with a goal and a plan, because that's what I'm coming here for, to leave a legacy.
Blake said that too, and then he just told us he got a D almost.
I couldn't hear that one.
Almost. Sorry, Rob.
So Blake said he wasn't coming to have fun either, and then he just told us he almost got a D in the first semester.
I definitely got to be focused on my classes. That's another big focus.
I'm just giving Blake
definitely got to be focused on my classes too.
Hey, all right, man. The main thing, Maurice. The rest will take care of itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, well, take care of yourself. Have a good Christmas.
But where can people find you
Saturday? Oh yeah, God, Kevin, you're the best, buddy.
I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, shout out your Instagram, Twitter, and all that.
Okay. Oh, in the chat or?
We'll grab it. Just give it a plug online real quick.
Okay. Well, my Twitter and my Instagram is the same thing. Yeah. LUHMO3 _ Limo3 _ on Instagram and Twitter.
All right. I'm sure you got a lot of Houston followers already, surely by now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming on, man.
collect
Take
all that
care.
poster on the board, though.
Yeah. You
Thanks,
guys have a
Mo.
good Christmas. Make sure your family. I'll see you Saturday too, Mo.
Yes, sir.
All right. Appreciate
See
it.
you there. All
I'll
right.
talk to you again.
Yes, sir.
Well, there you go. Mo Williams, one of the higher rated recruits. And I just noticed too, like in the last day, and it's probably on me for not paying attention, but I noticed at the end, I remember it was said on the board at one point too. I do remember there was a thread, but yeah, he dropped down a little bit during the season. I never did really investigate really why or whatever, if that was just people getting added ahead of him or they devalued him in some way, but whatever. It's cool. And you know what I mean? In the end, like I said earlier with rankings, take it with a grain of salt. And clearly everyone you can tell by his offer list and all that, he's a valuable addition and a lot of people wanted him. And I'm sure Houston's thrilled to have him on board. So he'll be a fun one to watch, man. I tell you what, he's very athletic and he does play with a high motor when he's out there. And I believe him when he says, you know, he feels like if he needs to go and make a play, he has that ability to really dial in when it needs to happen. And he'll be fun to watch. You'll be able to hear him for sure when he gets on the field. He'll be talking to somebody about it for sure.
Man, I think the fact that he's coming in early is huge, especially for a kid who, you know, I would be shocked if he doesn't have aspirations of trying to play right away, just given the talent. That you know, being able to go through a spring ball and, you know, being in a college weight room for an entire semester should be huge for him.
I'm just gonna.
I was joking with him before we made the new hire that he was damn near the entire recruiting class. So it's nice that that's not the case anymore. But
it was pretty close to true, though, Blake. You're
Yeah.
not wrong about that.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
That is an interesting thing you point out about his teammate Chris Stewart. This is a name I hadn't really heard of because he's class of 2026, but 6 foot 175 as a sophomore. Looks like he's already reported offers from Arkansas and Texas. So he's
What position is he, bro?
I think he's the one. He's a wide receiver.
Yeah, wide receiver.
Yeah. Blake, you remember
Receiver?
him? He was the
Another-
young guy
another
that actually
receiver over there?
started. Yeah, he started going off. I think in that first game we were at, Blake, the
yeah, I
Clear
remember
Springs
you
game,
pointing it out.
maybe. He had that real long run, touchdown run, and one of the coaches came over and
Mhm.
said that guy's a sophomore, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's right.
He looked
was-
like,
he
yeah.
had
Remember
a-
that now? Yeah. So
He
yeah,
had a
that's
Texas State offer at the time, I think, and that was it. So since then, he's
Okay.
gotten a few. But
that makes sense. I remember that now. Now that I think about it. The one thing I did that he touched on, and two, a couple people were asking, the early enrollees. I know for sure Mo Williams and Zion, both of those guys are coming. After that, I'm checking to see. I just sent a text to see if I can find out while we're still on air. If not, we'll put it on the board as soon as we figure it out. But that was one of those I was still working on with all these guys coming in the picture so late. Usually, we have time to build that relationships, and that comes up conversation wise somewhere along the way before we get to today. But because it didn't, then that's fine. We'll get it cleared up and get it put on the board. That way, we know who's coming next month, and then who's going to wait till the summer.
It really is. I mean, cannot be understated how big of an advantage it is, you know, for those kids, but also for our team to get those guys in early because it just makes such a dramatic difference. You saw, I mean, Jacoby Banks, I think last class was one of the few that did come early, and you know, it's a big deal for these guys.
Yeah, and as Houston starts signing higher and higher thought of players by being in the Big 12 and stuff like that, you're going to get situations where guys like a Mo Williams could even potentially come in and contribute. You know, if it's at a position of need and they're already a little thin there, these guys, as you start getting higher and higher rated guys, that part of that is because they're a little bit more ready to come in and contribute too. So that's good. It adds by having them in there. It might be the difference in having that extra semester, not just to be there for spring ball, but also as a player to settle into what that transition is. You know what I mean? As getting to be a student athlete at the college level and responsibilities and this and that. Sometimes that gives them a little chance to ease into that in the spring semester without football being in there on top of it. So they're a little bit more settled in than the freshmen that come in the summer.
Yeah, I think like Texas was slated to have like 16 of their signees enroll early this year. And
I would bet a large number of these. Obviously, the transfer guys will be here.
Yeah.
2 of the high school guys. So I would bet there's at least a few more of the high school guys. These guys from Alabama that we didn't get to know very well, we'll clear it up and put it on there. But I would bet there's a few more of those guys that are coming in early.
Yeah, hopefully so. But
here's a good one real quick. I'll take while we wait to see if anybody else pops in. I sent the link out. Several other guys, and we'll see. You know how it goes. Sometimes they get busy and what they said earlier, and now they're in the middle. But just a guy asking here, wanting to know about the other names. There's been more scuttlebutt in this and that. Other guys, I think I touched earlier in the chat. If you missed it, Levante Johnson from North Shores still kind of waiting on. It's funny, I might end up being right on that crystal ball after all that I put in forever ago. And then the old staff, I guess, decided they weren't going to pursue him. And I just sat there because I was like, I'll wait to see where he's going to narrow it down to later, or ask him once Houston's out of it type deal. And maybe he'll give me the heads up so I don't end up getting this crystal ball wrong. And it's just sat there all year. This goes like back to when they were doing the summer cookouts and stuff. But so it just sat there all year, and now it's funny. It may end up circling back and being right after all. And I'll claim I knew the whole time that that's the way it was going to work out.
Also, just kind of not breaking news, because again, they're not really signing anything, but it does look like Keith Cooper is as a transfer can be.
Oh, he finally signed. That was one of the guys too. I don't know what the deal is with him, but I'm sure there was a story behind it. But
he's
Levante Johnson was one. There was the Stillman guy, the Xavier Stillman. They're working on trying to get him closed out tonight. I heard that before he came on the air. Potentially get him signed up tonight and done. I know he's still been picking up offers, so he's still got a lot of people chasing him. They got a little bit of a fight, so that's not a bad thing. That means you're after somebody that everybody wants, and that's good, probably.
Yep.
In terms of guys coming back from the portal, Scott, I guess probably the one everyone's worried about, and even the one probably I would imagine that Coach really was referencing today, would be Jamar Caldwell. He was a lot more quiet about what he's done in terms of, I don't really truly know if he has visited anywhere or not. I probably ought to just reach out to him. I've still got a number from when he committed way back when. These portal things tend to throw me off a bit because technically we're not supposed to really talk with the guys when they're on the roster, so I try to leave them alone. But if they're in the portal, I can. So I'll reach out and see if there's any more clarification on that. As far as Jamar Caldwell, I mentioned before that he is extremely close and tied to Brian Early due to his development and his discovery from Brian Early along the way. So I would be shocked if Jamar leaves, but again, you shouldn't let him in the portal. So that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to be the bad guy tonight on the.
It's similar with Justin Benson as well. I don't know if he's actually made an announcement yet. But I asked him about Brian Early and if it had any impact, and he said it did. So that's not me saying he's going to come back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
No. And so, in the end, so far, really, it hasn't been that bad. And you look at guys that left, obviously, Matt Golden's a loss, but I don't think it's a loss you can't overcome. Mm-hmm. Dot's a loss, but of the two tackles, I think Dot's tremendous, but I think Jamar's probably got a little bit of a higher ceiling just because he's a little bit bigger and the way he moves for his size and all that. But I think they'll miss Dot. Don't get me wrong. I definitely don't want to undersell that. But again, of the two, if you had to pick one to lose, I mean, it stinks to lose either one of them. But I think losing Dot was a little bit more overcomable. Hopefully, as you got AJ Anthony.
Yeah,
Jones,
Anthony
Holmes. Sorry, yeah. Too many names in my brain. So, yeah, AJ Holmes. I feel like they've got that, and having Ryan early as well, knowing what he's looking for and what he's already doing, guys, be able to get those guys up to speed and get them going. So, true, there hasn't been a ton. I mean, I know Tyler Johnson went to Colorado, but I don't think he was coming back here anyway. So, Ruben Unije is in the portal, but he didn't even land anywhere yet that I saw. So, really, in terms of big losses, I don't think they've had a ton. I mean, it kind of stinks to lose Dalton Carnes because he came and became a little bit of a fun story this year. but I get it too with him wanting to probably get more playing time, and maybe he didn't see that here, so he took the opportunity to strike while the iron was hot and get a scholarship.
Yeah. And I believe on the defensive line, correct me, doesn't Hakeem Ajijalaya, doesn't he have another year as well?
I think he does.
I believe so.
I don't remember. Sorry, guys. I drank at the wrong time. Do you guys remember if he was on senior day? I don't think he was.
I don't believe he was. Right? I thought he still had at least another year. Okay.
He wasn't.
Yeah, at least didn't take part in senior day or anything like that. So, he's a guy who played really well this year. Added some depth, and another year strength conditioning probably takes another step forward. So, that defensive line, as tough as it is to lose, any of these guys, it's a deep room, right? And so especially with some of the guys you have coming in the portal, like we said. It's definitely more palatable than some of the other positions we could have had it happen at.
Yep. July is listed as a junior, so
okay.
he's got another year.
Good. That actually, talk about a guy, and I remember when he came out, I had a guy, another 247 guy, Brian Perney, works for the A&M site, reached out when he heard that Jijalaya was walking on over here, and he had a few smaller school offers. He's one of the first guys I remember picking Houston as a walk-on over, a couple decent little small offers type thing. So, again, we talked with him this year, and I remember he talked a lot about the education there and how important that was to him and his family. So there was more at work there than just a football level of things, but he's really come on and developed. I think he's really – Brian Early's turned him into a – way to go. That had to be Gatlin, right?
Yeah,
Gatlin's the only one whose dogs.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Trying to tell you something. They're hungry or something.
Yeah, I know, right?
My wife just got
They said, hey, you've been on for an hour. It's time for you
to.
Well, I'm trying to think. We can hang out and chit chat. Anybody else you guys wanted to talk about or bring up from the list while we wait and see if anybody else hops on? Obviously, I think it was great that they held on to Raekwon Bell and Snacks. That's two young interior guys that are going to help build for the future on the inside on the line. That's really good.
That was something I was going to bring up was in general, all three of the interior offensive linemen that they landed are guys that I'm really excited about for the long-term prospect. Oh, Stillman just got announced on Twitter, signed officially.
Yeah, there you go. Looks like they got it done.
There we go. Nice. But yeah, all three of those guys are guys that I'm really excited about. Again, I don't personally see any of them stepping in and playing like year one or anything like that by any means. But guys who, like I said, you talk about some of the just natural traits that they possess that are really tough to teach. A year or two in the program, learning, developing, are all guys that I can see being real big time contributors here for us, which would be great.
What about you, Blake, as you now survived your first year, and I know you're enjoying the basketball season as well. Not to mention, by the way, I know this is the signing deal, but Cougars are playing tomorrow night, so we'll have probably some more to say on that afterwards or whatever. But Blake, what do you think looking back now? First semester out of the way, first football season. Anything stand out that was a high point or anything for you? I know you traveled some road games as well.
Yep, I went to Manhattan to watch us lose by quite a bit, which is fun.
We know who to blame now.
It was funny. They threw a shirt in the air, Kansas State one, and I caught it. And we were sitting in the student section, and a student next to me goes, "That's Houston's first catch all day."
Jesus.
But no, it's been a good semester.
Love those Kansas State fans.
Fun, Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. My friend came with me. He's an Oklahoma State student. I made him wear Houston stuff, and they beat Kansas State prior. So whenever they started chirping, he was like, "No, you can't talk to me. I'm just wearing this." But no, it's been a fun semester. Being able to do media has been fun, especially right now. It's a really fun time to do it because of the coaching search and all the portal stuff. And it's really I don't want to bash anybody too much, but the ship is definitely back in harbor now. And you can see that with the recruiting class jumping, overall rankings over 50 spots. So it's been busy. I've been pretty much blowing up people's DMs constantly for the past few weeks, trying to get to do their announcements and all that. So no, it's been fun. Can't really complain about it very much at all.
And you'll have, a good mark to go by as the team moves forward. You know what I mean? You'll be able to see firsthand the changes and stuff on the field and performance and all that good stuff. So should be a fun experience for you.
For sure.
Well, we've been on for an hour and 5 minutes. I sent it, like I said, links out to everybody, and I know I got confirmations today, but you know how it goes. People get busy and this and that. Parents want to go to eat. You got to realize these are 18-year-olds probably.
We can always get them
year olds
on the show.
Yeah, no, for sure. We can end up getting another show going and just bring a few more guys on that are ready another day. So that'll work out good. Anything else you guys think we should hit before we move on?
I'm curious what y'all think about the new offensive coordinator hire, because I know that was a bit of a controversial one.
Have you had a chance, Gatlin, to do any more studying on him yet or no?
Just a little bit. I mean, I think it's going to end up being great, to be honest with you. Specifically, one thing, I know Houston is after a couple quarterbacks in the portal and trying to make a big splash there. But I'll be honest with you, when I watch a little bit of what Barbe does, it gives me a little bit of confidence in either Donovan Smith or Uyale. It looks like a complicated offense, and this is how he described it. There's a lot of window dressing with motion and things like that. But at its core, it's a very simple offense. And I think that's really great for an offensive room that has had so much turnover and change of ideologies and schemes. And specifically, Donovan Smith, this would be his third offense in 3 years. It's what you call like a concept offense. So instead of having to change the quarterback's progression based on, hey, this is a 2x2 or a 3x1, you're looking here. You've got hey, we've got smash on the front side, so that's like a hitch in a corner, right? And so you're looking at the concept and then moving to the other concept on the backside, right, in the pass game. And so things like that are, I think, going to be welcome simplicity for a team that's dealt with just kind of unnecessary complexities, kind of frustratingly so for a lot of fans who've been begging for quarterback sneaks or just kind of doing sometimes the simplest answer is the correct one, right? And I think that's a lot of what Kevin Barbe will bring, at least in the passing game. And I'll be excited to see what they do with the run game, because certainly what Kevin does and what Amon did at Tulane and ULM is a little different. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what they end up doing there from a run game perspective. But I'm sure they'll get it figured out.
I think probably the bigger question. Sorry.
Was that
I think the bigger question that Cougar fans are probably wanting to know is, did you see any Kevin Barbe plays where they're involved with tush push on 4th and short? That's the burning question they have.
I didn't see it
the
push, but I do know they get under center. And
there you go. What were we about to say, Blake?
The big sort of complaint with the hire was his offense ranked last in the SEC last year. But if you look at him before that, he was one of the more sought after names. Yeah, and it was a staff that was scrambled together because brought about by tragedy, as we know, with the passing of Mike Leach, and that was just a tough situation in general for that entire university. So first year in the SEC, it's a weird situation, tragic situation. If you look before that, I mean, this is out. His offense ranked second in the Sun Belt with James Madison, Coastal Carolina, like these offensive-based programs competing with him. He ranked second there, and before that, he was one of the more sought-after names. He didn't get hired to an SEC school for nothing. He had a rough go ahead at Mississippi State. Fans don't really care for him, but again, that was something thrown together, brought about by tragedy. I think he's going to be just fine here. And again, you're not really playing against SEC defenses, so I'm willing to give him a pass for one bad year. I think he's going to do just fine.
Yeah, I also think ideologically, he's a guy who establishes the run, and I think that's something that Houston has tried to do in the past, but not really gone all in on, right? You kind of see it, the last 2 years specifically where, we come out game one, we are committed to the run. We're going to run the ball. And as the season goes on, we kind of, okay, well, we're not good at running the ball, so we're going to, pass the ball more, right? And, I felt like that just kind of became a challenge of like, you lose an identity, right? Whenever what you're repping throughout all of the offseason and what you're telling kids is your identity, you see, kind of hit adversity and change it up. It's not a great message to send to the kids. And so I would expect this coming season with Fritz, Barbe, and Nagavi all to be on the same page that we are going to be a team that runs the ball. And even when it's not a popular decision amongst fans, we're going to probably see them continue to run the ball. But that's how you become an Appalachian State team that ran the ball down Texas A&M's throat in their house in 2022. Yep. So I'm excited about it. Again, we can do some deep dives this offseason and get into some X's and O's, but I think it's a great hire, and I think he'll do really well here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out,
Definitely.
I did hear something I overheard. They're talking about spring game stuff, so I would expect. I'm expecting that they probably have a much more noticeable embrace of that from a fan's perspective coming this spring.
Hope so.
So that's something to probably look forward to. You know what I mean? And last year, part of that was weather, and they couldn't control the weather. But again, like Blake took the high road earlier, I won't get into that either. So I think you'll see it embraced more. It feels like it'll be embraced a little bit more by the staff in terms of the fan-friendly part of spring game. So I believe that'll do it for now. We'll work on those guys. I had a few others on and a couple other guys that were willing to come on, and then a couple guys that backed out late. So we'll do that. The next show we have on, we'll let them know, and we'll be wrapping up basketball probably next. Now that this is kind of where it is, we'll start to really kind of fully pivot now that this coaching search is for the most part done, and a lot of guys are signed. There'll obviously still be news to talk about, and there'll still be chasing transfer portal guys and all that, but it's about to get to the good part of the basketball season on top of it all, and conference play and all that's fixing to get going, so that'll start being a little bit more. But we'll get those guys on in future shows. We'll just try to get many of them that we can on between now and when they get on campus, and we'll work our way through as many of them as we can. So, without further ado, gentlemen, I really, really want to say thanks again for all three of you guys. You guys did a great job helping me out this week. Kevin's been great all year getting me going on this. It's hard to believe we're on episode 20 now. I remember when we were just getting started, It was good grief. It felt like it was slow going, but now it feels pretty good. I think we've got a good thing going on here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. That's very appreciative, and everyone that supports on the site and subscribes and everything. For those of you on YouTube to subscribe and share and tell your friends and all that good stuff, we appreciate that as well. So make sure y'all subscribe so y'all can keep up with future shows. You guys, we'll be on the phone, but I don't know if we'll have another show. If we don't have another show before you guys, make sure you have a good Christmas, all that good stuff. But we may end up having one between now and then, depending on how everything plays out. So thanks as always, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. See you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.